This Sunday morning on Inside Texoma, we are taking you to Lockett, Texas for the 50th annual barbecue. It's all taking place this Friday, April the 13th, and it all started with a simple bear and 27 deer and has grown into an event that now includes more than 2,500 pounds of meat. And joining us now for more on the barbecue, we have several members from Zion Lutheran Church in Lockett, Texas. So thank you for being here. First, Mr. Freddie Strite, and he is the congregational chairman. We also have Mark Lehman. He is an elder at the church, and Miss Barbara Swanner, and she has lots of titles, wears lots of hats, and does so much for the church as well. So Barbara, if we could just start with you and tell us what is on the menu for this Friday's barbecue.
Well, we start with beef and pork barbecue. We have beans and homemade coleslaw. We shred our own cabbage and make a ton of coleslaw. The potato salad is all fresh ingredients, and the ladies there at the church make all of these. Then we have cherry cobblers. Probably 50 women or so actually will be working in the kitchen in various times, getting the food prepared and ready. On the serving line, as the people come through, they can help themselves as many times as they want. The iced tea and all of this is like $10 for a very
price, huh?
No, we think it's really a good deal. The children ages 6 to 10, it's $5. And if anyone under 6 years of age, it's free.
Wow. You definitely, I mean, not only though is this a big meal, a great meal that you're saying you can continue to go through the line, of course, and you're not going to leave hungry. That's a fact.
Right.
But it's also for such a great cause, and I know we're going to get into that and where the funds go and, you know, how this all was started. But let's talk about the meat and where all this comes from, because there's a lot of hard work that goes into this, and I understand not just one barbecue pit that's cooking all of this up, correct? So how many pits, barbecue pits, are there going to be going? And this all starts the night before, I'm understanding.
Starts the afternoon before.
The afternoon before, yes, sir.
Afternoon before, about 3 o'clock the afternoon before, we'll marinate the meat, and then it soaks in vinegar and salt and pepper, and then it'll be put on the pits like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. And then we've got 2 big pits, and those 2 big pits will hold close to 3,000 pounds, 2,800 pounds of meat, you see. And that meat is put on the pits, and then it's fired with mesquite coals, and we turn the meat every hour, on the hour, and daub it with vinegar and salt and pepper and butter, you see. And then it's cooked from 9 o'clock at night till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock the next morning, and then we start finding the pieces that are done, and we start slicing, and then it's ready to serve Friday afternoon.
So are you slicing and you're continuing to cook up until people are there eating?
Yes, yes.
That's a lot of work.
There's a lot of people, and they do a lot of work, yes.
So I mean, we're talking 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Someone's still having to sit out there and turn
every hour on the hour.
Every hour on the hour,
Yeah.
we turn the meat and marinate the meat, and fire it with mesquite coals every hour.
So no doubt this is going to be some tasty barbecue then, huh?
It's
Worth the travel, you know, anywhere in Texoma. Everyone is encouraged and invited to come on out, of course, and the price, you just can't beat that, and it's all for such a great cause. Now, tell me, where did the idea of this all come about? How did this barbecue continue this tradition? I know it's a 50-year tradition, and how did it all get started?
This got started 50 years ago. There were 9 hunters, most of them from the church, went to Colorado and had a heck of a hunt. And well, let me tell you a little bit about that hunt. The people that hunt will appreciate this. Our out-of-state license that year was $40, and this is on the Southern Ute Indian land, and the Indian permit was $7.50. And for that $47.50, you were allowed 3 deer, a bear, a turkey, and a mountain lion. 9 of us came back home with 27 bucks and a black bear. Now, what are we going to do with all this meat? Okay, so somebody suggested, well, here at the church, let's cook it and give it away.
So you cooked a bear.
So cooked the bear
and the deer.
and the deer and the deer. And the bear got chewed up. I don't know how much of it got swallowed, but it got, the more you chew it, the bigger it got, you see. And so, but anyway, we did that about 2 years in a row. And then somebody finally made a suggestion, you know, that we could put some good meat on this pit and cook it right, and we could sell tickets, and we could use it as a fundraiser for the church. And so that was roughly 50 years ago, and it's been going on since then.
Ever since,
yes.
huh?
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty awesome. Now, you were actually one of the ones with the original group, correct? That started this.
Yes. Well, I was one of the original 9 hunters. Yes. It's amazing that a hunting trip could turn into something like this, and it could last so long.
Sure.
It's carried on the tradition for 50 years. That doesn't always happen.
No, not at all.
And it takes great effort to keep it going. And there's a lot of people put in a lot of work. One person doesn't do all this. It takes the whole church and the whole community, the men and the women alike. The men had the hunting trip, but the women do most of the work.
You know, I remember I was 6 years old when they had the first one, and you know, I'll never forget they had bear meat there, and that's back in the days when Davy Crockett was a big deal on TV, and that's how I personally remember it, and it was a big deal, and it's been that way ever since.
Is it something that your families are involved in as well? I mean, is this a generational tradition now as well? I mean, do you find that in the church where, you know, maybe sons and grandsons, because it's the men's group who kind of leads this. Is that correct? Am I understanding that correctly? So, you know, are you finding even generational, you know, it's just being passed down? The more and more as they grow up, they take part in this and want to continue the tradition. Pretty awesome.
My dad was involved. I was involved. My oldest son is involved.
I love that. Such a great thing. Well, we have so much more to get to, of course, including how all the funds that they raise, because all those thousands of plates are going to add up to, you know, an awesome way to contribute back to the community. We're going to talk about how they help so many after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. Once again, we are talking about the 50th annual barbecue that is going to be taking place on Friday at the Zion Lutheran Church in Lockett, Texas. And we have heard so much about the history and how it was all started, and you know, definitely, of course, the barbecue this Friday. And something else that we want to mention is all of the music that's going to be this Friday, live entertainment as you eat, correct?
That's correct. We have a local group of musicians that come together. It's not one particular band, it's a number of bands that come together and perform, and it's primarily country music, and they're really good. They're really, and it's great to have good barbecue, and then it's really great to have good music too.
Absolutely.
And some of our performers, James Strite, Dr. Mark Reynolds, Mark Woolley, local band there from Vernon. We have a local band from Vernon, Kroll, Dwayne Johnson, Tommy Tamplin, Patricia Bell. They're some of the performers. And Jake Miller, he performs. He's been there for years and years. Every year performed for this. So it's very festive music, and I guarantee you'll enjoy it.
At first we didn't. We showed pictures of the hunts and all of it, but then that kind of got a little boring. So we got some music started, and then the music got better and better, and the bands got a little bit bigger. And then in our old building, we couldn't seat but about 300 people, you know. And we had trouble feeding enough because people would come in, they wouldn't leave because they'd listen to the music.
Right.
You see, now we can seat twice as many people, so it's a little bit better.
Absolutely.
Right.
And, you know, I just find this fascinating. I think that's so neat how, you know, at least 700 people are coming in to eat. And, you know, this being the 50th year, this is a good year to get out there and, you know, just shatter that number. So that way you can tell us, you know, just the record-breaking number of people who are coming through the doors and sitting down to, of course, enjoy the music and the food. Now, all of this for such a great cause as well. You know, not only is this a great community event, of course, just getting together, but the funds that are raised, because as we mentioned, there's a fee. You can just pay for that at the door. You don't necessarily have to have your tickets in hand, but what is the money used for? Because there's a list. You have so many different things you help support.
Well, of course, our Zion Center where we're having the barbecue, it's a large metal building. It's 80 foot by 100. It's a huge building. And this like told you earlier, this building, we built it back in 2008 because our old parish hall was destroyed by a storm. So we help fund that. It's our parish hall community center now. We have weddings and reunions there. And then also we use funds for our church expenses. We have a softball field right next to the parish hall, and it's a first-rate field. And when we have a lot of teams that come in there and play and practice, and then we have our youth programs that that the funds help with, and then also we help support our Lutheran mission, and some of the money goes to that.
And I know we're definitely going to hear much more about that coming up. Actually, someone who had recently benefited from some of the funds, because I understand you help kind of adopt or support someone, who may be going overseas to help minister to, the children or families or whoever it may be, whatever mission trip they might be taking. But, that's such an important thing to be able to use all of this money. Is that neat to know that you're helping so many different areas in the community that you live in, just from a great barbecue? Is it just neat to see that all come to pass?
Well, it's neat to see everybody come together and work for the common goal, because everybody pitches in. You wouldn't believe that people just come out of the woodwork. What can I do to help?
Yes.
And it makes it all fall in place, and
It's fun.
And yeah, it's
It's
enjoyable.
fun. It's
Yeah.
fun
It's tiring.
work.
Oh, by the end of that second day, you are totally pooped.
I bet.
You're done.
And it would have to be fun and for a good cause, because I can just imagine you're starting the night before and then going all day nonstop. You better be loving what you're doing, huh? So, now, Barbara, how important do you think this annual event is for Lockett and for Zion Lutheran?
Well, Zion Lutheran is a small country church about 10 miles southwest of Vernon, and we don't want to be forgotten there. So this barbecue is one way of reminding people, hey, we're out here and we want to serve the community, and this is one of the ways we can do that with all the good fellowship that everybody has and a good meal. And we think it helps our church and the community.
Absolutely. Especially with the community center, everybody being able to take advantage of that,
Yes.
and the diamond and baseball field and so on. So, well, thank you so much for sharing. And I know the church also a big history, with the church celebrating, I believe, 110 years. The church has actually even been around.
Just close to 110 years.
That's amazing. So, well, we are going to take another quick break and be back with more on how these funds are helping to support those missions. You're going to hear an inside look at that, and then we'll, of course, give you directions to the barbecue. So stick around. We'll be right back with more.